After having Everly, I thought it was impossible for me to get pregnant on my own, so I didn't go on birth control. In March, at the end of March, we went to Pentecostal Fire Youth Conference. Everly was only 4 months old at the time. While we were at Fire Conference, I was sick a lot. I was getting car sick, I was very sensitive to smells, and I was nauseous the whole time that we were there. I remember thinking it was really weird. So I decided on April, it was either 4th or 5th, that I was going to take a pregnancy test because I'm not pregnant, but I'm so nauseous I keep thinking that I'm pregnant. So I'm going to take a pregnancy test just to prove to myself that I'm not pregnant. And sure enough, the test was positive. I had been tracking everything since having Everly, so when I went back, I realized that I was 6 weeks pregnant and Everly was only 4 months old. Me and Evan were shocked. I thought I couldn't get pregnant on my own. So at this point, I had a new doctor, and that was the doctor that had delivered Everly. And I love this doctor. I trusted this doctor. And my new doctor told me that I didn't need to take progesterone. And because I was already 6 weeks along, I figured that it was probably too late to start progesterone anyways. I should have started it at 4 weeks. For 6 weeks, my stomach was growing. We were talking about baby names. We were talking about where we were going to put the baby, if it was going to be a boy or girl, and I was buying baby clothes already. I had pregnancy symptoms. But we didn't tell people about this pregnancy because Everly was so young, and I honestly didn't know what people would think or say about it. On May 21st, 2016, I woke up in the morning and I had a speckle of blood. It made me very nervous because I was afraid I was going to miscarry again. It was the day before Everly's dedication. I wanted to go to the ER really bad. But my husband was like, we don't need to go to the ER because it's Everly's dedication tomorrow and we want to have a really good day. We had family coming in. My family was coming in from Louisville, and we had planned a big dinner, and it was going to be this big deal. We didn't want to go to the emergency room just in case something was wrong. We didn't want that to rain on our parade on Everly's dedication. It was the day of Everly's dedication. I woke up that morning on May 22nd. I woke up and I had more blood again. So I was very nervous and I was really emotional the whole day of Everly's dedication, just worrying and thinking about what if. That Sunday night, May 22nd, I started bleeding significantly and we went to the ER. When we went to the ER, they did an ultrasound, and at the ultrasound, there was a 13-week pregnancy sac, but there was no baby in the sac and there was no heartbeat to be found. I started bleeding that Sunday night and I continued to bleed all week long. On Saturday, May 28th, I miscarried completely. For 2 hours, I had really painful contractions and I bled a lot. I remember when it started happening, I just started like crying hysterically. It was the most awfulest thing that I had ever went through. After 2 hours of doing this on my own at home, I got to the point where I had passed so much blood, I felt like I was about to pass out. I called the emergency room and explained to them what was going on, and they were urging me to come in because they said they weren't sure how much blood I had lost, and they had talked about possibly having an emergency D&C. We got in the car and started heading to the hospital. I just started praying and I was just crying out and I was just saying, Jesus, Jesus. I was just in so much pain. I was praying, and as I was praying, the pain stopped and I was fine the whole rest of the way of the drive to the hospital. When we got to the hospital, we seen that I had passed the pregnancy. I was completely fine and it was all over with. This miscarriage seemed like it was harder for me than the first miscarriage. The first miscarriage, I had a D&C, and so I never seen anything. Having a natural miscarriage was a lot more traumatic for me. Actually seeing my pregnancy come out of my body and exit in such a painful and horrifying way was so hard for me. Also with this miscarriage, I don't think I had fully dealt with the feelings that I had in my first miscarriage. I don't think I fully dealt with all of that the first time around. So it felt like this miscarriage, I felt all the pain of my first miscarriage adding on this pain of this miscarriage. So it felt like I was just having the pain of 2 miscarriages all over again. Also with this miscarriage, I started miscarrying the day before I turned 13 weeks pregnant. So I was pregnant for a lot longer. I thought that everything was okay, and since I was so far along, it was a lot more painful for me to have to miscarry. Also, it's just really hard that for 6 weeks I was pregnant, and it's hard to go from being pregnant for 6 weeks to one day you wake up and you're no longer pregnant. In September 2016, I started taking Clomid again. On October 13th, 2016, I got like the super famous positive pregnancy test you could ever get, and I'm going to include a picture here so you can see it. So I told my husband, I was like, look, if you like squint really hard, there's a line. And he was like, no, there's not a line. I was like, yes, there is a line. You can just barely see it. If you hold it up to the light really good, if you use a flashlight, you can see it. And my husband was like, that doesn't count. And I was like, yes, it does. For a couple of days, I kept retaking tests, and they was just not coming up strong enough. On October 16th, 2016, 3 days later, I finally got a clear positive pregnancy test, and we were super excited. I forgot to mention, when I was pregnant with Everly for the first 12 weeks, I took progesterone. That's why the miscarriage that I had after Everly, that's why I was talking about not taking progesterone, because with Everly, I did take the progesterone the first 12 weeks I was pregnant. So whenever I got a positive pregnancy test, I took progesterone again for the first 12 weeks of this pregnancy. Also, whenever I was between like 18 to 20 weeks pregnant, it was recommended to me that I started taking McKenna shots once a week. Everly was born at 36 weeks, and they were worried that this baby would come even sooner than 36 weeks. So I started taking McKenna shots, which is basically progesterone shots. I started taking that once a week up until I was about 35 weeks pregnant. I stopped taking them. At 39 weeks pregnant, Rosie Lane Hensley was born on June 17th, 2017, and she was 6 pounds, 10 ounces. I wanted to share my testimony with you. I really wanted to share my testimony with you because I really wanted to help somebody else going through what I was going through. I remember when I was going through a lot of this stuff, when I was dealing with the infertility and when I was dealing with these miscarriages, I remember I felt so alone, and I would go to YouTube and I would watch videos of other people who had went on Clomid and got pregnant with babies, and it gave me hope. And so I wanted to share my story so that I could help somebody else. The biggest thing that I learned through all of this was that I was not in control, and I had to rely 100% on God. Sometimes we think that, we're going to schedule when we get pregnant, and I'm going to take Clomid and I am going to get pregnant, but that's not how it is. God is the creator of life. He creates life and He sustains life. And if God does not do it, it's not going to happen. We can use things like Clomid to help us get pregnant. Clomid just helped my body, but God is the one who creates and sustains life. And we have to depend on God. We have to cry out to God. If you're struggling with infertility or you're having problems carrying a baby, seek God, because He is the one who gives life, and He is the only one that can do it, and He can do it. I wish that I could just tell you everything that I learned from these experiences and give this information to you so you could just learn from me. But that's not how it works. All I can tell you is during this time to just really lean on God, rely on God to help you through this. You can gain so much strength. When I was going through all of this, I was reading through my devotion. Something I read from Streams in the Desert, I want to read to you. Going through deep hurt in life allows us the opportunity to drink from the springs of God's love, comfort, and grace. During these times, we can receive so much strength from God as He pours into our empty hearts. While you're going through this trial, this is a great opportunity while you're going through this trial for God to comfort you, for God to show His love for you, and you can just grow so much in God through this experience. When going through deep sorrow, allow God to show His great comfort to you. Psalms 147:3 says, He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Matthew 5:4 says, Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. It is a promise. If you are mourning, if you are grieving, God will comfort you. So let Him comfort you. Feel that comfort. 2 Corinthians 1:3, Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of mercies and God of all comfort. There's 3 things that I want to leave with you that I hope will help you. First of all, I want to let you know that you are not alone. I want to read you this verse in Isaiah 41:10. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. God is right there walking with you through this time of grief and sorrow. You are not alone. He is with you every step of the way. Also, I want to let you know that you have hope. We have hope that we will see our loved ones once again one day in heaven. So let that be a comfort that they're not gone forever. They're just gone for a while. Finally, I want to let you know you will be able to use this as a testimony to help other people. Once you go through something like this, it will give you so much more compassion. You will be able to help somebody else. I want to read you this quote. God often uses our deepest pain as the launching pad of our greatest calling. One day, when you are healed, you will be able to help other people go through what you have gone through. I hope this video helps somebody in some way. That was my whole goal and purpose of creating this video, was to help somebody. I feel so sad to think that some of you out there can relate to what I've shared in this video, that you would be feeling the pain that I have felt before. I wanted to let you know that I am here for you in any way that you need me. Send me a message on Facebook, a direct message on Instagram. If you have my number, call me, text me, write me on here on YouTube, leave me a comment down below. I want to be there for you because I remember when I was going through it, I felt all alone. I can be there to listen, I can be there to pray, whatever you need from me. I just want to let you know that I am here for you. Just please reach out to me so I can be a help to you in any way that you need. I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Have a good day. Bye, ladies.